Hey, welcome to another video of The Life of Low here on YouTube. Merry Christmas. Here with my cousin Rich. He has his own channel. I have my own channel. We're just spending some quality time together. Figure we have some drinks and discuss our YouTube channels. See where we've been and where we'd like to go in the future. What this new year has to offer for the two of us. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them about your channel. I'm going to make us a couple drinks. Some John Daly's coming right up.
All right, Rich, so we got the SoCal Review Plus channel. Operate primarily on YouTube right now, but you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, just jumping on TikTok at the moment. Then we did pick up a Porsche this year, so if you want to see a SoCal Review Porsche, you can follow that channel.
Vroom, vroom.
Highlights of the year, probably kind of been going out of state. So normally our channel focuses on fun things to do in Southern California, and then whatever city we're in, we'll also do a hotel review there too, so you know if you want to stay at that hotel or not. But we've been going to New York and Boston and doing some videos out that way, so make sure you check those out. Probably one of the highlights is we took that helicopter ride around New York City with my daughter.
Yeah.
So that was kind of something special, but also allows people to see what they're going to see before they spend $800 on a similar trip.
I've never been in a helicopter.
I had not been, I was in the military, and I had not really been in a helicopter either. I've been on planes, I've been on some other different things. But
Right. I've been on the airline.
that was not in my field. So when we went there, it was kind of neat, and it's streamlined. They get you in and out. They come in, you sign your waiver, you pay, you do this. Sit in this chair for about 5 minutes. All right, go to this chair, gear up, put on all your safety gear. They give you helmets.
Okay.
Because it is very loud.
And you got to communicate
You
through the mics.
communicate through the mics, which is pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
So what's in this John Daly's?
So the John Daly is vodka. Usually people use vodka because it's flavorless. Some like others. I use vodka. I like the Tito's. Just seems to go good. You can use any vodka. And then it's the Arizona tea, the half and half. Half lemonade, half iced tea, which they call the Arnold Palmer. So basically the John Daly is a spiked version of the Arnold Palmer.
Cheers.
Cheers. Merry Christmas.
You know what I like about that Tito's?
What's that?
Is supposedly they started off in a guy's bathtub.
Really?
Yeah. It's on
I
the
don't know if I want to drink Tito's no more.
on the old labels, there's like a cardboard thing that tells you like, hey, they won all these different awards and that's how they got famous. But in reading the backstory, people used to make homemade hooch in their bathtub, and I guess that's how they got started.
Okay.
In fact, going back to our family, our legacy of the Ortegas, we had a bootlegger great-grandfather out of San Pedro, and he used to make alcohol in his bathtub or in his house.
During Prohibition.
Grandma ever should tell you the story?
It's in the book. It's in the book.
They got a family book. I think it's called Bootleggers of California. They got a chapter on our family.
There we go. I think that's a video right there. We should just review that book
Review the
and
book?
that story of our family.
I'll try to maybe throw a link
Yeah,
below.
we'll find it. Definitely.
So one of the highlights is this guy comes up to my grandpa's house. Maybe it's Christmas or whatever holiday. And, hey, I want to buy some more of that stuff. So he goes in the cabinet, hands him basically a clear bottle of a vodka, clear.
Right.
And the guy's like, man, I don't want this. I want that brown stuff you gave me last time. He's like, all right, I'll be right back.
Now, was this kind of when like moonshine was popular?
This is back in like the 40s,
Right.
Prohibition. You couldn't buy alcohol at the stores.
Gotcha.
So he goes back in the back room. I guess he used to dip some tobacco. So he just spits a little bit of in that bottle,
Gives
shakes it
that
out,
brown tint.
brings it right back out. The guy cracks it open.
I don't know if I want to drink brown liquor.
No. Maybe that's not the best story to share. But the guy drinks it. Is like, yeah, that's what I was looking for. And that when you make alcohol in your own bathtub, the consistency is not always going to be the same. So
No, very rarely.
So just kind of a fun story. For the record, me nor any of my family make any liquor in our bathtub, but
we had made some concoctions in our day, though, huh?
Yeah.
About the atomic bomb. You remember that one?
No, which one is
Grandpa
that one?
Mac.
Okay,
The
yeah.
atomic bomb. Actually, you know what? I think that was our other cousin, Anthony. We had a little get-together at his place. And we had come to my grandfather, like, hey, we wanted to make a little drink, something different. Everybody's used to the same. We all know the screwdriver. We all know Jack and Cokes, right? So he's like, well, let's try this concoction. And we were wet behind the ears, didn't know nothing too much, So it was pretty much a hyped up version of a Long Island iced tea. And we didn't know that at the time. We thought it was crazy this guy was throwing in 5 think he went with like 6 different liquors, you know. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't taste it. Very dangerous drink. Hell of a night. Fun time.
Tell them about you guys call it the Hondo or getting Hondoed?
Getting hondoed out.
With the slushies?
Oh, man. Getting hondoed out.
What do you put in that?
You choose your alcohol. Me and my cousin Antone, we always went with the Hennessy. That's what we liked. So we went with. But you can pretty much go with anything you like. So you know your frozen sodas. Some people call them slushies. Not really a Slurpee. But it was more of the slushy, I think is what.
You go to your local Quickie Mart.
Yeah, you know, we had our place was called Sam's, right? Sam's Market. But yeah, straight Quickie Mart style. And yeah, you maybe like get a big old styrofoam cup. What was that, like maybe a 60 ouncer? I don't know. And you just take the top off, enjoy it, sip it up real quick. Or if you're in a hurry, just scoop it out, you know what I mean? Whatever it was. Just giving you some space to pour in your liquor. And you got to churn that thing like he was working the butter back in the day. But eventually, you had yourself a whipped up alcoholic version of good old slushy. You picked your flavor. I went with the Coke. We had the Henny and Cokes frozen all day. Wrong. Can't go wrong. Especially we in Barstow. It was 120 some odd degrees in the month of August. So those things would hit just right.
These are good.
Glad you enjoyed
it. They taste like a Christmas drink.
Hey, the golf courses make these things so tasty. Oh boy.
You been out golfing lately or no?
No. Unfortunately, as much as I like to, I've only been out one time the whole year 2024.
Been staying busy with cards and business?
Yeah. So a little backstory on my year, how that went. My father got kind of ill back in February. So I ended up quitting my job. Became his 24/7 home care. And here we are, you know, Christmas Day, December. He hasn't gotten much worse, so blessed for that. And now that I'm not working, I have all the time to do the store, to do the eBay, to start the YouTube content on some consistency, because I've done it all. I just want to be consistent with it, and that's the key to everything, right? The consistency.
Yeah.
So now I'm focusing on the branding. You've been seeing that lately. All year, that's the focus, branding. Honestly, eventually, I'd like to get away from eBay and then bring my customers to my website. Lolo Deals, the website. It's coming, 2024, which is only a week away. It's going to be here really fast. If I have by option, I think I'm going to go with lolodeals.net. .com's not available. Excuse me. So I think the lolodeals.net is going to be the domain. And yeah, I'm going to get that out quick. So hopefully that gets going, because if I can get customers from my own website, now I just got to pay the percentage of my processing fees, which is usually 2.5% to 3%, compared to an eBay sale of a sports card. You know, something like this Michael Jordan here would range anywhere from 12.5% to even up to like 15%, depending. So we'd be saving 10-11%, and let's just say my goal is to do the neighborhood of $100,000 in sales this next year. Now imagine I accomplished my goal, 100,000 sold, but then I got to break off over 10% to eBay, giving them over 10 grand. And you put it that way, it sounds crazy.
That's a stiff.
So let's get it back down to that 2.5-3% range. So that's where I'm working. It's going to take me some time, obviously. Build a website from nothing might be a few years, but it's okay. Lolo Deals, we're going to strive for it. We're going to get it.
Well, my hats off to you for taking that step.
Thank you.
Giving up your full-time job to take care of your
And it's weird,
dad.
I wouldn't have done it had I not been put in the situation I was put in. So, they say it all the time, you know, the Lord works in mysterious ways. So all I knew is once we got Pops on the schedule where everything was good, we weren't, you know, panicking no more, because I knew nothing about nothing when it came to medical or even being responsible for somebody. You know, I don't have children, so this is the first time. I'm 42 years old. First time I've ever been responsible for someone outside of myself. So, you know, I take that seriously. And, you know, it's been a wild year, but here we are. We made it. You know, and things are going good now. Things are smooth, looking better. And now that I have the time to put the focus in, going all out. And, you know, I've been learning for about 6 years. We've been selling on eBay since 2018. And now it's time to unleash everything I've learned and just really go for broke.
Can't help but notice the Christmas attire you got on today.
Oh man!
Did they play today?
We played today. It it was odd to get a football game on a Wednesday, but the NFL gave us 2 games on Christmas Day. It was on Netflix. Steeler fan, obviously, went against the mighty Chiefs, arguably the best team in the league, depending on who you talk to. I kind of think Buffalo Bills doing a little bit better than them, but that's my opinion. But yeah, they whipped us up pretty good today, you know. But got to rep it to the fullest, man. My grandpa Mac, we mentioned earlier, that made the atomic bomb drink. He was from Pittsburgh, PA, so that's why I became a Steelers fan. I started watching football probably the early 90s when the Cowboys were going to the Super Bowl every year against the Bills. Speaking of the Bills again, remember that?
Yeah.
I remember you used to cheer for the Bills every year.
I still consider them my team.
5 years they went to the Super Bowl and lost.
Growing up Mexican,
That's crazy.
you had to like the Raiders. That's pretty much mandatory. And the Raiders lost to the Bills in the playoffs.
Okay.
So I was thinking to myself, I said, man, they must be a pretty good team to beat the Raiders. And also, young, I didn't know the Raiders might not have been the greatest team in the league, but I said, oh man, so I started rooting for them. They go to the Super Bowl, root for them, bet on them, lose several years in a row. But you can't keep hopping teams, so I just I got stuck with them.
And that's how I came up with my team.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a young kid. I was probably about 10 years old. I'd watched baseball since I was like 6, so I was getting into football. And at that moment, like you mentioned, we're in Southern California. So at that moment, the Raiders were still in Los Angeles. Everybody was a Raider fan. You know, everybody was a Raider fan. And I like to be a little unique. I don't like to just roll with everything. And then the Cowboys and the 49ers were going back and forth winning Super Bowls every year. And it was like they were the 2 best teams. I don't like to ride with the best. You know what I mean? So when it came time to pick a team, I go, you know what? I'm going with my Grandpa Mac's team, Pittsburgh Steelers. At the time, you know, they weren't nothing. They weren't competing. They won all their Super Bowls in the 70s. I was born in 82, so I didn't know nothing about that until, you know, I watched the old footage later in life. But then, yeah, man, you know, I stayed with them, and we lost the Super Bowl in 96, I believe, to the Cowboys. And everybody used to say that the mob influenced that game because we just threw picks to the Cowboys where there was no black or gold in sight.
All day long, huh?
But, hey, that's the game, man.
I was looking for some baseball cards in here, but...
I had the baseball tucked away.
Basketball. I remember this Michael Jordan hologram. Back, what year did holograms start coming out? Because I was like...
Sometime in the 90s,
man,
probably.
If you got a hologram card, man, you thought you didn't have to work for the rest of your life.
Right. Especially like a Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh, yeah. You got the Kobe.
Gotta have the Kobe. Yeah, these are all basketball and football cards. I have the baseball cards kind of sitting away. I'm not going to sell them till about mid-February, March, when spring training starts. Figured I'd get the most return on my investment during that moment. So it's been crazy, this little flip from selling raw cards for $1, $2, $4 to now investing major money and hoping for a grade. But it's not even a hope, you know. I've kind of done my homework.
You get your top cards, you mail them into, what's the company called?
I use PSA, but there's plenty of other companies, different pricing,
and then what do they
different presentations.
They rate the card?
First and foremost, they authenticate the card, so
okay.
You know it's real. You know, imagine buying some old cards from, like, say, the 70s, 60s, 50s, and who's to say they're fake, you know?
Oh, yeah. Nowadays, you make anything.
Yeah, it's good just for that. And you can actually just pay for that service.
Okay.
And, you know, it's a cheaper price. But if you're going to do it, you might as well grade it. So then the grade is the condition of the card.
Yeah.
Based on a scale of, like, 1 to 10 normally. Different companies might have the 0.5 in between. But it comes down to 4 different categories that they grade on, which would be the centering of the card, the corners, the edges, like the side, and then the surface area, top and bottom. You know, the back goes for everything. The centering applies to both front and back. And if you can score well in all 4 of those categories, you're going to get a 10.
And then they keep track of how many 10s are in existence, too,
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, so if talking PSA, let's use them for the example, because that's who I use, so I know more. It's called the Population Report.
Yeah.
For short, they call it the POP Report. And that will tell you how many total cards were sent in for grading. How many got this score, this grade, this grade, this grade. So you can look at a 10, let's say let's say only 100 of the cards actually even sent in, and only 3 of them graded a 10, that's a rare card now because only 3 of them are in existence, as of the moment of grading. So you could use that to sell for more money even. It does affect it if it's a low population. So yeah, I've only been doing this since the summer, so I'm only like 6 months in. Matter of fact, I've been thinking about doing this for years, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of scary to mail off some expensive cards and waiting all this time, and what if it gets lost? You always think the worst, and eventually you just gotta get over any fear you might have and just give it a shot. And now that I'm doing it, I've already received 3 submissions back. They average about 6 weeks to get my cards back, so it takes some patience, and it ties up your money.
It's kind of amazing how much stuff does not get lost in the mail. It's always like, oh, I sent you the check, it must got lost. I've never had someone say I didn't get what you sent me, or vice versa. I'm like, hey man, I don't know how the mail system does it. Now, you have seen this thing on the trains though, where the trains are driving around, the theft, and people are just cracking open train cars, probably mail too, and just ransacking it. Other than that, for the most part, the mail gets
just
where it's supposed to get.
As it being lost somehow.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't hear about it too much.
No, you don't. I've been selling on eBay, like I said, since 2018.
Hats off to the Postal Service.
Hey, I love the Postal Service. They help me make thousands and thousands of dollars every year without leaving my home. I love them. But since 2018, I think I've had 1 envelope to where the buyer said it didn't show up. And for all I know, it did show up. The tracking just didn't catch it. So they could have just said that.
Pocketed it.
But hey, in what is that, 6 years, over 6 years of selling on eBay, for only 1 package to come up questionable.
That's not bad numbers.
Hats off to that. In my personal life, 1 year, of course, it had to have been Mother's Day, right? I sent my mom a card. She lives a couple hours away, so I mailed her a card in the mail, and it didn't arrive. And until this day, she swears, I didn't even send a card.
I sent it.
And I did, I really did, and it got lost in the mail. But, that sounds like, hey man, the dog ate my homework. So that actually did happen to me, but for the most part, the post office is a heck of a job.
Hey, so while we're sitting here having our drink, I'm looking up at the production studio area, and you just made a video on some old school WWF.
Yeah.
Before it was WWE, it was called WWF.
Yeah. What year did that change? Probably early 90s.
I was mad. It bothered me.
Yeah, I was upset too. It was one of the first times in life where I was just upset about something that happened.
Do you know why they changed it?
It was because the World Wildlife Federation.
Yeah.
It was an animal group, and
Yeah.
they felt I just didn't understand. No knock to animals. I love animals. I didn't understand. Why did they have precedence over
Vince,
the name? You know what I mean?
Vince McMahon should have done something about that, huh?
So if you guys know that, put that in the comments. That'd be awesome. Why did the World Wrestling Federation have to change to World Wrestling Entertainment from WWF to WWE? And why did the animal group keep the name?
I'm getting mad just kind of thinking about it. You know what I mean?
It brings up, like I said, that irritated me as a child. But
hey. So tell me what the video was about.
So basically, I don't watch a lot of television, as in programming. I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of content to master my craft. How can I get better? How can I improve my life? That's where I'm at, the phase in life. When I do watch television, I love Seinfeld. I watch a lot of Seinfeld reruns. So when it's time to shut the brain off and actually just chill out, which is hard to do now because you get on a mode where you just got to go. So I finally be like, man, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take it back to 1988, and I'm going to rewatch all the WWF videos, all the way up to when I stopped watching, So I was born in 82. Based on the matches and everything that I remember, I probably started watching wrestling in 88, hardcore.
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior, man. That was my favorite wrestler. How about you?
I was for some reason, I like Demolition. Tag team. I was more of a tag team guy.
How did you feel when Crush came along and joined Demolition?
Well, it was weird because you used to have tag teams, 2 people.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden there's this third guy. I almost feel like it was
And then remember,
Crush cousin or
Crush
something.
had his own character, but he was a good guy, you know?
Yeah.
He had the loud colors, and it was just weird to see Crush go to Demolition. He was still Crush.
So maybe that was like the first like wrestling gang, because later on it got... So wrestling maybe dwindled down a little bit, and then NWA, which was... Not NWA. Who's the...
NWO?
No, NWO, but...
Well, WCW.
WCW was the challenger to WWF.
Right.
And I think...
Now, did you watch WCW, or were you kind of like, no, I'm strictly WWF?
WCW to me was like minor leagues.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
I had no...
Even though Ric Flair was like one of the main guys, and we knew he was over there with Sting too.
Now I like Ric Flair.
But it was like I couldn't bring myself to watch that.
I thought they were cheap and not as
it was like a knockoff.
Yeah,
in my eyes,
it felt like a knockoff.
They weren't, but in my eyes, they were.
Hey, WWF just did a good job of like holding the loyalty.
But then it was weird when you started seeing your favorite wrestlers go into the other league.
Yeah, so
and then you're forced to watch it, and that's
NWA
when
took
the
over.
Monday Night Wars happened. Yeah. We'll get into that.
And then let's be all video on its own, probably, if you want it to be.
Right.
But yeah, when NWA came out, and you basically had NWO, NWA is something different, right? NWO, you basically had like wrestling games.
Hey, NWA was just as integral in their genre as NWO was. And then remember, NWO branched into like two NWOs. You had the Wolfpack, the black and red. Then you had the white and black.
That brought wrestling back.
And then they ended up picking up Hogan.
Yeah,
he ended up being Hollywood Hogan.
When Hulk Hogan,
we went off, didn't we? Because I never even told you about the video I posted.
Oh, did you post on that one?
Well, you had asked me about the video I put up today.
Yeah.
And I just basically went into a whole history of wrestling. Real quick, it was the time. So I'm going to start a new series of videos called Remember When. And it's just going to take us back into things that I remember that I felt were pivotal points in whatever. In this case, would be the WWF. So remember when Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, tried to buy the WWF Championship belt. Oh, you remember that? So anyways, I came across that watching my old videos. Decided to make some content. Put it out there today. Matter of fact, go check that video out. We'll put a link in the comments there. So that was the new WWF video. Hopefully it flies. I don't know how that works with the copyright and all. So hopefully YouTube's take it easy on me. I tried to abide by the rules.
I was telling someone a story today, and I think I got it right. But I was telling them about the Renaissance Fair, because I like to go to the Renaissance Fair. It's probably my most popular YouTube videos.
I've only been once. When I was a child.
As a child, right?
Yeah, so I would like to go again and experience.
For school, right?
Yeah,
field trip. So now as a grown-up you go, you seen the video?
Yeah. Multiple times.
Yeah.
And I think you have a couple videos.
Oh, yeah, it's very popular. I go at least once a year, create content, sometimes one.
Another jerk?
Yes, I would like one. Sometimes 1 or 2 days, get all my videos put together, edited. I took my friend Fabian.
Yeah, I got to meet Fabian.
Fabian's a good time.
What up, Fabian? I ain't met you yet, man. Lawrence, Cousin Lo. We're going to have to link up, man. I heard you golf, too.
Yeah, he say he golfs. He has clubs.
Hey, I got clubs, too, man. That's all you need is clubs and some good company, right?
So he went. We kind of dressed him up. I had some old like Halloween Roman Empire.
Like some armor?
Yeah, some armor.
Okay.
Threw an armored shirt on him. He had some like khaki things, Chuck Taylors, and he wore his
not to be mistaken with Under Armour apparel.
No, yeah, not Under Armour. And then he's a big
OG Roman Empire armor.
He likes the commander.
Oh man, I guess we ain't doing the measuring shot glass no more. We're just moving in. You know, that's how the Vegases do it. My last name's Flores. My mother, his father, brother, sister. That's the Viegas side. So yeah, I'm a Viegas as well.
Let me see that bottle real quick. I'll see if it talks about that on the back.
What's that?
I'm gonna see it on the back if it talks about being in the bathtub.
Presentation is everything, and here at Lolo Deals, we take pride in that. So we make sure all our packages are protected, but also look very, very presentable. Lolo Deals.
It's not there anymore.
What's that?
It doesn't talk about being in the bathtub no more. So now, well, Tito's now is one of the most popular vodkas. Anytime you go to any establishment, they're like, what's your preference? And they're always pushing out Tito's. And I like it. That's not my preference.
I'm not even a vodka guy, but like, I just love running around going, Tito's! Like, gets me excited.
So, going back to the Renaissance Fair. So, Fabian loved it, but in the video, he's going to say he didn't love it because he's a trash talker. But check out that video. SoCal Review Plus, Renaissance Fair. There's about 4 different ones. Look for the guy with the Washington Commanders cap on. I like to embarrass him. We have a series of videos where when he's not with me, I'll find like some beautiful women.
Right.
And basically, I'll get them to be part of the video, and they're always like, "Fabian, where are you? Like, we're missing out."
Okay.
So basically, I'm because he didn't come hang out with me, he didn't get to meet these beautiful women, right?
And you threw it in his face.
Yeah,
later.
and I throw it in his face. That's because he's a trash talker. You gotta serve it back. But
that's a good friend, though, hey man.
yeah, and he ladies, he is single. Some people say he looks like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, if you will. I
can see that.
You just got to deal with his not dark humor. He's like me, you know. He's an old military guy too, so some of our humor is not everyone's cup of tea, but he's a good dude.
A lot of stuff nowadays, nobody's cup of tea.
But yeah, there's a video of him too. He does like him and his brothers. They do like 1 trip a year. So like last year they went to Dubai. The year before that they did Oktoberfest in Germany.
They traveling.
Oh, here's yeah. They went to the Virgin Islands. They rented a boat. Here's one more. I'm throwing it in his face. So he tells me, "Hey, what you got going on?" He's, "Oh man, me and my brother and my other brother, his wife, and their teenage girls, we're renting a boat and we're gonna cruise the Caribbean." I was like, "That sounds cool." And that's all it was. Is he told me him and his family are doing this, and I was excited because I was like, "Man, that sounds fun." But this is definitely a family trip, so I'm not trying to self-invite. Right. If it was just him and his brothers, I might be like, "Oh man, how much would it cost to get in on that trip?" You know.
Right.
But he didn't put it out that way, so I don't say nothing. Right. He comes back. How's the trip? Man, it was good. You should have went. I said, "Man, I was waiting for the invite." He said, "I invited you." I said, "You surely did not have. If you would have invited me, I would have been on that boat." Because I guess that it went from the family trip, the daughters didn't go, so it just ended up being the adults. So I would have been like, "Yeah, that'd be cool," you know.
Right.
But that's a great video. SoCal Review Plus, or Virgin Islands. You're gonna see Fabian. He's a good dude though, man. Give me a shout out on the videos. Hey.
He seems like a lively guy.
Yeah.
When you watch these videos.
Oh yeah, he's
like
fun.
He's a character in your show. You know what I mean?
He's fun. He's definitely a good dude character. But
we're all have to go golfing then one day.
Oh yeah. We'll set it up.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right. How do you want to close this out, and then we'll go into that that Game of Thrones
real quick
video.
Make sure you go check out SoCal Review Plus. Subscribe to the channel. Go check out the content. Like it up. It's fun stuff, especially if you're looking into going somewhere that he actually covered. That's the best. You're gonna get a first-hand look at what to expect, the good and the bad. He doesn't really candy coat it.
I like to tell people, let me spend my time and money so you don't have to. If this is your cup of tea, I'm gonna tell you how much it costs. This is what it looks like. This is what it is. You go there. If you look, be like, I was gonna go, but now I'm seeing it. It's not my favorite. Might have just saved you a day and some dollars. So
yeah, that's what we're always looking for. I know when I go out of town, I like food, so I like to try the local restaurants or whatnot. And yeah, first thing I do is run to YouTube. Hey, what kind of food we got in this city?
What all channels should my people be looking out for? You got a couple channels?
I just got the Life of Low on YouTube. It's kind of everything summed together. I do the Low Deals eBay store, which we specialize in sports cards. Right now, barely getting into Pokemon just because it's a whole nother niche of my world that I should tap into because that's just money to be made. And I make independent music, hip-hop, with my buddy K-Jiz. Nowadays goes by Vert the Wordsmith. It's Money Wad Entertainment, Money Wad Music, so independent music label that we do. So a lot of that music goes onto this channel as well, the Life of Low. Eventually, maybe I will have like a Low Flow Music page and a Low Deals page. But at this moment, I just figure let's ball it all up, and hopefully you guys like the content I do bring. Leave a comment. What do you like? What don't you like? You know.
Let me know if you like this Gremlin sweater.
I love the Gremlin sweater.
So some of you youngsters might not know what this is about, but
they don't know, man.
If you're on Netflix, I love Netflix.
And I sure hope they don't do a remake.
No, they don't need to. But you can watch the whole movie on on Netflix. I think there's commercials.
Yeah, it's fine.
No, not on commercial. YouTube.
Ads.
Excuse me. On YouTube.
Yeah.
You can watch
Yeah.
the whole video on YouTube with a couple commercials in through. But classic Christmas movie.
Love it. They made 2 of them. They did make 2 of them. Phoebe Cates in the first one. Who all love Phoebe Cates? I like Phoebe Cates.
Which one is she?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh yeah, I know you like. Yeah.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Cheers to Phoebe.
Cheers to Phoebe. That's the way to close out, baby, huh?
Hey, I thought we were going to touch on the Game of Thrones.
How about next video?
Next video. You want to see what we're watching on stream? I told you I like Seinfeld and syndication on television. What do you watch on Netflix, Prime, what streaming services you use? This is all stuff we can discuss next time. Thanks for taking the time. Merry Christmas, everybody. 2024. Going into the new year, 2025. A lot of new stuff coming, so make sure you like, subscribe. Both the channels. Life Below, SoCal Review Plus. Hey, love you guys. God bless.
Baby, the baddest, your booty is the fattest. The freak in me is telling me that I gotta grab this. I already had this, but I want mine.